is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Philly.
Rough one last night, but the beauty of baseball is you get to come back out the next night and try again. The Angels currently 4-4 on this homestand tonight. It is game 2 against the visiting Texas Rangers. We welcome you inside the Big A and back to Angels baseball here on Fox Sports West. Along with Mark Kubiza, I'm Victor Rojas. Mike Scioscia tonight is handing the ball off to Jared Weaver. He's had a spectacular season and trying to just add to that win total now.
Victor, he was unbelievable his last time out. Take a look at our AT&T Uverse Rewind. You're going to see some of those quality pitches he threw his last time out. 12 punch-outs in the game for Weaver. Very good fastball. He was able to elevate it, spotted it well. It set up that fantastic changeup that he has. Mentioned 12 punch-outs, only 1 walk, 7 very good innings pitched. 17-game winner, tied with Max Scherzer as far as the AL lead. Has an opportunity to get closer to that 20-game season, but those 12 punch-outs last time out showed me, and I even had a conversation with Weaver in between these starts, his fastball command and his fastball feel for his pitch much, much better than any time in the last couple of seasons, which is good.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The Angels will be facing a familiar right-hander in Colby Lewis tonight as we're just about ready for baseball here at the Big A. Sit back and relax. We're going to bring you the lineups and the first pitch when we return. Angels baseball is brought to you by CarMax. Start to search for your next car at CarMax. And by the Fiat 500 1957 edition. Return of the original. Visit FiatUSA.com to learn more. It's a 3-game set against the Texas Rangers. The Angels have just been playing okay baseball here on this homestand, but that's all right. They've clinched the division. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. They still do have a 2.5-game advantage over the Baltimore Orioles for the best record in the American League. The Orioles currently leading the Boston Red Sox 6-2 at Camden Yards. That game is in the 6th inning. So at the very least, the Angels want to keep pace with what the Orioles are doing and try to maintain that home field advantage, which they already have for the division series, but maintain it into the ALCS should they advance.
Yeah, that's the important. And you also want to get your tempo rhythm at the plate. You want to get your pitching staff set up where they're comfortable throwing strikes exactly where they want. You want to set up your bullpen so they're ready. They get enough rest, but not too much rest to be effective in the postseason.
Jared Weaver and the Angels getting ready to take the field for game number 155 on the season. The Halos at 95 and 59 at the start of the day. 10.5 game lead in the American League West. Not that that matters since they've already clinched, but it's nice to see that number. Oakland did lose again today. They were shut out by the Philadelphia Phillies, and that kind of just bucks up a little bit that wild card. Seattle with an opportunity if they win tonight to tie Oakland atop the wild card standings. Let's take a look at the lineup for Tim Bogart, the interim manager of the Texas Rangers, who roll into town into game 2, I should say, with a 61 and 92 record. Leonis Martin will lead things off. He's in center. Elvis Andrus at short. Rougned Odor jumps up to the 3 spot. He's at second. Beltre will be the cleanup hitter at third. Jake Smolinski at right. You have Tomas Taillese the DH. Ryan Rua in left field. Robinson Chirinos is the catcher. And Adam Rosales will bat 9 tonight and play first base. This is a team, the Rangers anyway, that's on a roll. 7 consecutive wins, 15 hits last night. But they're up against Jared Weaver, as you pointed out, Mark, a 17 and 8 record, 3.50 ERA.
Yeah, 14-game winner in his career versus the Rangers. 200+ innings thrown this year, only 179 hits allowed for Weaver. That last game out, though, probably the best stuff he's had in a number of years as far as velocity on his fastball. His key tonight against the Rangers, build on that fastball confidence. Know that you have that fastball when you need it and refine all your pitches. Get ready for that game 1 of the postseason game on Thursday. No matter who you play against, get all those pitches working and feel comfortable.
Defensively behind Weaver tonight, it's Efren Navarro in left, Mike Trout at center, Cole Calhoun in right. The infield has David Freese, Eric Ibar on the left side, Howie Kendrick, and Albert Pujols on the right side with Chris Iannetta behind the plate.
And Weave generally a fly ball pitcher. For Navarro getting this start, his 15th start out in left field. He has 1 assist, 1 error in that position. He never played in the majors or minors left field in his life. But I'll tell you what, he's played a very good, consistent left field this season up here at the big league level.
Certainly has, as Weaver is ready to throw the first pitch tonight. 3rd start against Texas this year. His last one happening on July the 12th. Picked up a win, allowed 2 runs on 4 hits and 7 innings of work. Weaver's coming off back-to-back wins at Cleveland and here against Houston. 7 innings on the 13th. First one tonight is bunted foul, and it's no balls and a strike on Leonis Martin. Center fielder hitting .281, 7 home runs, 39 runs batted in. Has a .332 on base percentage. Couple of hits last night. 2 singles, 2 runs scored. Texas scored early and often last night. 3 in the first, 4 in the second. Added 2 more in the 4th and 1 in the 5th. Before adding a couple of garbage time runs in the 9th. 1 ball, 1 strike on Martin. Freese playing in at 3rd base. The outfield playing shallow. This is pulled foul. 1-2. Earlier start time. Nobody really has to deal with any shadows at this time of season. A lot of times we get these 6 o'clock starts on Saturdays. Second base, sometimes first base has to deal with the sunshine. Even right field on occasion, but not tonight. This one shot foul down the 3rd base line, just behind Gary Pettis, still with the speed.
Super quick.
Yeah.
Speaking of quick, that fastball from Weaver at 91.
Well, you mentioned it the last time out for him. There's Gary.
Yeah, if you hit it over the fence, it had to go way over the fence, or he was going to bring it back.
Foul back. But getting back to Weaver in his last start, something we hadn't seen. Not only a jump as far as velocity is concerned, and when we're talking about Jared, it's not a huge jump. We're not talking 5 to 7 miles per hour, but a significant enough jump to where he had been this year. Not only that, sustained it for a good period of time. That is just, no, it got the inside corner. Delayed call. The owner Martin doesn't like the call, and it's the first down here in the first.
And that's a strike. There's no doubt that got a lot of the strike zone. And that's another 90-mile-an-hour pitch. That's 3 in a row in that at bat against Martin for Weaver. And that's the thing. Because he's getting more confidence with his fastball, hitters have been sitting on his changeup and curveball. Even though it is still difficult to hit, they can look off speed. Now all of a sudden with Weaver and his comfort zone with his fastball, so important for him.
And we'll see how this team, Texas that is, reacts to Weaver tonight, the way they've been swinging the bat. There's Elvis Andrus, a little bit of a emergency hack there on the slider, fouls it back, and it's 0-1. And Texas comes into this one hitting .280 in the month of September with the 7-game winning streak that they've been on. Last night jumping all over the fastball from Hector Santiago. And more than likely because he didn't have a secondary pitch to throw for a strike, so they were sitting dead red. With Weaver, you've got to worry about the other stuff. Slow curveball, such as that, 0-2.
Yeah, so far in this sequence against Andrews, who's had success against him. Slider first pitch, followed by a 70-mile-an-hour curveball.
Weaver stumbled there on the delivery.
Hey, remember he did that the last game out early on when he's driving towards the plate on a fastball. He's going to try to make sure that landing area is in good position to land now. I want to take a look at our Phantom Cam, how level his shoulders are. And the eyes on the target and on top, and that torque. And you want to be a pitcher seeing that elbow move around like that. That's fun.
Fastball, got him looking. Down goes Andrews, 2 down.
That's 2 strikeouts on fastballs looking. Both at 90, that one at 91. Perfect spot. Good velocity. And velocity's not huge for Weaver, but it does make him more confident on the mound. We've seen him early in this year when he had some tough games where he was fighting with his fastball, muscling up. It was 86, 87, and it ran out over the plate, became hittable.
Rougned Odor, the batter. He'll take upstairs. Second baseman. Hitting .260 with 8 home runs and 42 runs batted in. Odor was in the 8th spot last night, ended up going 1 for 5. But to your point about Weaver earlier on this year, it seemed like the frustration, the muscling up as you called it, curveball in there for a strike, having to do with that transition for him and accepting the transition that he's not the Jared Weaver that came up as a rookie and was, racking up wins. Velocity was good. He had to kind of feel his way through that a little bit and finally I would imagine, buy into it more so. And as the season has progressed, he has continued to get better and better.
Yeah, and I think the arm slide, you're noticing the curveball right there. He's throwing a couple at 68 to 70 range. It's not the typical 12 to 6 break straight up and down. It's more, we talk about that as 11 to 5 break on his curveball. A little different arm angle for him.
Fastball, and it just missed. Weaver took a stutter step to the right. Wanted that pitch. And
it looked like it was just off the corner, but still a very good miss. 91-mile-an-hour fastball, just barely off the corner. That's a pretty good take. Or you were beaten on a pitch.
Off speed, grounded to short. First ball put in play. 1, 2, 3, and go the Rangers. We'll head to the bottom of the first. Calhoun, Trout, and Pujols coming up. Mike Scioscia starting 9 for the Halos tonight. Cole Calhoun, as usual, leading things off and right. Mike Trout follows him in center. Albert Pujols at first. Howie Kendrick at second. Eric Ibar at short. David Freese at third. Brendan Bosch back out there again as a DH. Chris Sidetta gets to start behind the plate. Efren Navarro batting 9th and playing left. Taking on the 35-year-old right-hander, native of Bakersfield, California. His name is Colby Lewis.
Colby Lewis, a 10-game winner this year. ERA just over 5. 196 hits allowed and 158 in the third innings pitches. He will give up his share of hits. Fastball is 89-91. Slider, curve, change. But the keys against Lewis: square up his fastball. He will get some fastballs elevated out over the plate and pressure him early. Those first 15 pitches, batting average against him 305 with 5 home runs and 10 RBI. First 15 pitches of the game against Lewis.
5th time that Colby Lewis will face the Angels this season. The first start back on May 2nd, very good. The last one, very good. And that was September the 9th in Texas. The 2 in between, not so good. Including the 13 runs and 2 1/3 that the Angels put on the board on them in Texas on July the 10th. Cole with an 0-1 count, hitting 281 on the season, 16 home runs, 57 RBIs. Hitless last night, going 0 for 2 with a walk. How's this one back?
Yeah, hitting 600 against Lewis for Calhoun. 6 for 10 with a home run and 4 RBI. One thing about Colby Lewis, doesn't waste any time, throws a lot of strikes, and will give up his fair share of hits.
One ball, 2 strikes. Lewis coming off a win which he defeated Atlanta, allowing a run on 5 hits and 7 innings of work. Texas handled Atlanta rather easily on that 14th. Down it in. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. 28 starts for Colby Lewis.
Well, we talked about it, he's got pretty compact mechanics. Doesn't move his head a whole lot, which allows him to stay within the strike zone. Does elevates the fastball, gets over the front leg also very well.
2-2, hit in the air to right. Moving to his right is Smolinski, and it's Leonis Martin that cuts in front of him, makes the catch for out number 1. Defensively for Texas, Rua, Martin, and Smolinski from left to right. Beltray, Andrews, Odor, and Rosales in the infield from third to first, and Chirinos behind the plate.
Well, Hugh Martin in center field, cover a lot of ground. 10 outfield assists this year, second most in Major League Baseball as far as center fielders. Only Jackie Bradley with more, with 13. Extremely good, accurate throwing arm.
So here's Mike Trout. Trout, the Angels Player of the Year. Garrett Richards, Pitcher of the Year. Held the ceremony before the game tonight.
That was really good to see Garrett go out there. Deserving, even though Weaves had a fantastic year. Richards just dominant.
1 ball, 1 strike on Trout. Garrett in full uniform, was on crutches, but worked it. Looked like he walking better than I anticipated.
Yeah, no question. Full uni and everything.
1-2. That one's on the corner. Like yesterday, went 0 for 3. The Angels managed just 7 hits in the ball game. And were held hitless until the 5th. Two balls and 2 strikes.
I think with Lewis, he'll pitch in, he'll pitch away, he'll pitch upstairs, he'll pitch downstairs with his fastball.
Full count now. 2 guys in Weaver and Colby Lewis, at veterans that work very quickly, don't waste a whole lot of time. Usually around the strike zone. That being said, Luis Alberto Bonilla last night, his second major league start, was pretty good. 5 innings, 2 runs, 2 hits, 4 strikeouts, and 4 walks. This one found off to the right. Hector Santiago would have taken the loss. Talking about Garrett Richards, coming out to take the award home from Mike Scioscia.
Well, a special moment for Garrett, no question. I think Albert Pujols said it best after that injury up in Boston. He said the team just rallied behind not only him, but as a group and as a unit to be able to get back and start playing very good baseball, not feeling sorry for themselves, losing your ace pitcher at that point. They rallied, and boy, did they turn it off from that point forward. A Hyundai key for this game tonight. A little Taylor Swift for you, Victor.
All right.
Shake it off. His last, the inconsistency since winning the division as far as the swings, and he's trying to get back on track. So shake it off, get that W tonight.
That's one of her new ones, right?
Yes. She's more of a
she's crossover.
Yes. No, that's not country this time around. Not a country album. Just trying to keep everyone updated on that one.
Oh man, it's interesting listening to talk about Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah.
After, I don't know, Slaughter or Dokken
or Metallica,
yeah.
the night before.
Crocus, Metallica. Oh, Taylor Swift tonight.
Yes.
0-1 count on Albert. 272, 26 home runs and 98 RBIs. Fouls this one back. No balls, 2 strikes.
Albert is 2 RBI away from the century mark.
That is driven out to right. Smolinski is there. Makes the catch. 2 down. Well struck by Pujols, but unfortunately right to the Rangers right fielder. Trout back to first, and will be Howie Kendrick coming up.
It's a good swing too for Albert. Able to get his hands in and then looking to hit the ball the other way. Well, that's a great swing. Used the barrel of the bat, hit that ball extremely well to right field, but Smolinski there to make the play. It's good follow through, looking to drive the ball that way. That's going to be important because when you're in the postseason, you're going to face some very good pitching. And a lot of those fastballs are going to be firm, so you have to think in terms of using the whole field.
0-1 count on Kendrick. Looked like Trout bluffed a little bit at first. Howie hitting 290, 7 home runs, 71 runs batted in.
And Colby Lewis has allowed 18 stolen bases in 25 attempts, no pickoffs. Trinos does have a very good throwing arm. He's throwing out 33% of would-be base stealers, though.
That's hit out to right field. Smolinski moving back on it, still going back, and the wall pulls up. It's off the fence. Trout will easily come around to score, and the Angels have themselves a 1-0 lead.
'31st double for Howie. Now 72 RBI. Just 3 RBI away from his career high of 75. Another perfect swing. Looking to go the other way. No wasted movement in the swing. The drive to hit the ball to that part of the field, and Trout with 2 outs knows he's going to have a great opportunity to score. Turns around and scores another run for Mike Trout.
Eric Ivor takes the breaking ball in the dirt. Nice block by Chirinos.
It's 110th run score for Trout, which leads the American League in that category.
Can't say enough about Robinson Chirinos, the job he's done behind the plate this year for Texas.
Perfect technique as far as keeping that baseball in front. Your shoulders are squared, your glove is down, turned the right way. Knowing that there's going to be a spin on the breaking ball, they know you have to try to keep that in front of you.
He's not a kid. I mean, he's 30 years old. He's been around, a lot of time behind the plate. But getting an opportunity here, this being his 88th game because of injuries, he's really, I would imagine, has opened some eyes up as far as the Rangers are concerned. I know he's opened our eyes.
Yes, no question.
Two-0. Ibar slices one down the left field line, and that is just foul. Rua with a long run with that ball tailing away from him, unable to catch up to it. So it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Ibar with 29 doubles, 4 triples, 7 home runs on the year. 0 for 2 yesterday with a walk. Most of the regulars coming out after the 5th inning last night because of the score. Now back to a 2.
Easy numbers about number 5 hitter this year against Colby Lewis in a lineup. 387 batting average against him, the number 5 hitter in a lineup. 4 home run and 15 RBI. It's weird when you look at stats like that. Certain parts of the order, hitters have success against starting pitchers.
What is it? CJ's got a problem with the number 8 hitter or something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
There's a couple of guys like Hector Santiago's had some issues at the bottom part of the order.
I was equal opportunity. I just like to have trouble against the ball.
Yep.
That was fun.
We'll pitch on Monte in Oakland. And, got a bit coming off. Best start that I can remember from C.J. Wilson.
His command, his balance, excellent.
David Freese on deck. 2-out double by Howie Kendrick, putting the Angels up 1-0 here in the first. Trout scoring from first. .22 pitches thrown by Lewis already. Now Ibar backs out as Lewis was coming set. A little bit lighter crowd, it seems like, for the first time this week for fireworks tonight. This one's skied to center. Martin in a couple of steps. And that'll do it for the Angels, but they do strike for a run on the Kendrick double. We'll head to the second with the Angels leading at 1-0. I want to remind you to be sure to make your plans to be part of the postseason action here at the Big A. The Angels Divisional Series tickets are on sale now. For more info, log on at angels.com/postseason. Howie Kendrick is taking the Angels to a 1-0 lead on his 31st double, 72nd RBI. And here the second for Texas: Beltre, Smolinski, and Taylese. Faced Jared Weaver, had a couple of strikeouts in the first. First breaking ball is down and away. Beltre hitting .324, 18 home runs, 73 RBIs. A couple more hits last night. 2 singles, 2 runs batted in, also scored a run. Check swing foul. Just over the Rangers dugout. Hopefully Vern's all right. It may have hit a child down there in the front row. Beltre glancing that way, making sure the fan is all right. Now back in the batter's box. 2 balls, 1 strike. Two on to Beltre. Some sky behind home plate. And then it takes the mask off. Comes near the netting, but that one's into the dugout sweeps. 2-2.
So you want to be a pitcher. Watch the delivery and what the arm goes through as you deliver the baseball. And Weaver throws across his body, but when he finishes off his throws, he's in perfect position as far as his mechanics. Lands over that front leg very well and drives towards the plate, but that motion in that elbow is unbelievable.
Beltre sneaks one down the line. He's going to try to stretch it into a double, and he will do so as he picks up his 30th double of the season. And in scoring position for Texas with Jake Smolinski coming up.
It's only his 17th hit and 77 career at bats against Weaver. That one's just right down the line. Had to cross that base before because it landed on the other side of the chalk line.
So here's Smolinski, the right fielder. .389 average, couple of home runs, and 10 runs batted in. He had a 2-run home run in the first inning last night. It's his only hit. Went 1 for 5. That one back.
Well, he is on some pitches.
Yeah, I was
especially
just
first pitch slider.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Unless he was sitting off speed.
That's one of those pitches that when you're on the mound, that first pitch, that it'll get over slider. You think you're pretty comfortable throwing that, but he was on that one.
Cuts through the fastball. It's 0-2.
.22 pitches thrown by Weave so far. 16 of them strikes.
Leadoff double by Adrian Beltre. He stands at second base. This one's skied. Shallow center. High bar onto the outfield grass. Puts it away for the first down. Beltre could not advance.
Big out for Weaver and the Angels. An out like that does not allow him to move over third. That's a fastball down and in at 90. On to pop it up in the infield.
So 1 out, and here's Tomas Taylese. Catcher by trade, but serving as a DH tonight. He's a switch hitter. 241 with a couple of home runs. 10 runs batted in. Rangers last night were 5 for 9 with men in scoring position as a slow breaking ball misses high. It's 1-0 on Taylese. 15th game in the big leagues. All happening this year. Now he's pulled to the right side, and that'll sneak through for a base hit. Beltre's going to be stopped at third. So we'll get a hit with a man in scoring position. It'll put runners at the corners. And Ryan Rua coming out.
Yeah, Taylor stays pretty good as far as staying back on a slow pitch. It's back-to-back breaking ball, stayed back very well, and then shot that ball past Albert Pujols at first base. Beltre's not going to challenge the arm of Cole Calhoun, his 8 outfield assists in right field. Good decision by Gary Pettis to stop him there.
Chopper to third. Freeze feeds Kendrick for one. Relay back to first. Got him. Inning-ending double play. We'll head to the bottom of the second with the Angels still on top.
Coming up later in the game, we'll check out the big news from around the majors on the Carl's Jr. Sports Update. Big time pitching matchup. The AL Central Showdown. And can Pittsburgh continue their winning ways? They are hot.
Yeah, they've been on a roll. At the start of the day, 2.5 back, having won 5 consecutive. And they currently have the second wild card. They've got a 4.5 game lead, so at the very least, it would seem that they will get into the postseason one way or another.
2 years in a row after not making the postseason for 19 straight and 19 straight losing seasons.
And at times this year, you wondered if they were going to figure it out. If it was just going to be one of those, I guess, an aberration last year. David Freese, Brendan Bosch, Chris Seinetta face Colby Lewis here in the second. Freese gets jammed. Flares went out to shallow left. Andrews going out. Rua coming in. And Elvis Andrews makes the catch for the first out.
And now it's time for Tools of the Trade presented by Ram Trucks. You talk about perfect technique and a very solid defensive catcher. Rinos does a great job of keeping his shoulders square, the glove down, using that chest protector to keep that breaking ball from going away from him and not allow a base runner to advance. When you have a catcher like that behind the dish, as a pitcher, you're more apt to be more aggressive, throwing a breaking ball in the dirt in a strikeout count.
Brendan Bosch hitting 183 with a couple of home runs, 7 runs batted in, homered yesterday. Mammoth shot as he pulls this one into right field. He's on board with a one-out single.
That was Barry Bonds territory, that home run last night. Even the one he hit earlier in the homestand to where the old bullpen used to be here, the Big A. Starting to get more level with his swing. Barrel of the bat out. Didn't quite get the sweet spot of the bat. Still quick enough to drive it in the right field. When he was struggling, when he came up here on 2 different occasions, getting underneath a lot of his swings, the bat is a lot more level now. It's a good combination for a hit and run also with Bosch, who runs pretty well, and Iannetta can make good contact.
First game behind the plate for Iannetta since Wednesday. .255 average, 7 home runs, 43 runs batted in. Check in on Bosch. Bosch with 3 stolen bases at the major league level this year. The 1-0 shot. 2 balls and no strikes. Single by Bosch. Second hit allowed by Colby Lewis. There were a lot of pitches in that first. That limited the damage to just 1 run. Total of 23 pitches in that first inning. 14 strikes. But considering the weather we had last week, this is
perfect.
Oh, just couldn't get any better. It's on the corner, 2-1.
Now you have the perfect count for a hit and run. You know more likely you're going to get a fastball. Going to be a fastball more likely on the outside part of the plate so you can hit the ball on the ground.
That's out towards center. Not very deep. Martin broke back down, has to race back in, makes the catch. 2 down. Hey folks, tomorrow is Fan Appreciation Day here when the Angels finish up this 3-game set against the Texas Rangers. Final home game of the regular season tomorrow. It's a 12:35 start. Fans in attendance have a chance to win great prizes from Yokohama Tire, Medieval Times, Apple Vacations, Konica Minolta, and more. Purchase tickets today at the Angels Stadium ticket office or by logging on at angels.com. Two outs and a man at first. And Efren Navarro at the plate. This one's out toward left field. Ruan moving back on it. Still going back. Reaches up and will make the catch on the warning track, robbing Navarro of extra bases. Nice play by Ryan Ruan. As we play 2 and the Angels stay on top.
Well, they've hit some pretty good baseballs at the outfield. They've been retrieved well by a Ranger outfielder. Good play by Ruan.
AT&T fan photo of the game, but we need your help. Tweet us your photo using hashtag WestFanPhoto, and it could be shown in an upcoming game broadcast, although there aren't not that many left.
There's enough.
Yeah, 7 more.
Yes.
After tonight. Weaver back to work here in the third. The Angels leading at 1-0. Chirinos, Rosales, and Martin. 8, 9, and 1 for Jared Weaver. 2 hits in the second. Threw a big double play ball. First one's in for a strike. Robinson Chirinos, the catcher, 241, 11 home runs, 37 RBIs. Was the last starter to get a hit last night. That was in the 9th inning. A double and a run scores. This was bounced to the left side. Freeze has it. And still got him.
Boy, nice play by David Freeze. Pretty good ground he covered.
It almost looked as if he wasn't going to throw it at that point. But cut it in front of Ibar. Made a nice play.
Turned a double play last inning to finish it off. He's able to gather himself, knowing he's got a strong enough arm with a catcher running down the line. But Chirinos runs pretty well for a catcher. Just gets him.
One out, nobody on for Adam Rosales. Rosales hitting .294 with 4 home runs, 18 RBIs, .368 on base percentage. The breaking ball misses down and away. Now, one more regular season home game tomorrow, and then the last road trip begins on Monday. 3 in Oakland. Off day on Thursday in Seattle, and 3 against the Mariners next weekend. And then Red October.
Yes.
It begins.
Yes. With that man going to be on the mound.
October 2nd, right here. Game 1 of the division series. Rosales pops it up on the infield. Howie Kendrick calling for it. 2 down.
Well, I really like what Weaver was saying as the club was celebrating on the field after clinching the division. How excited he was to give that an opportunity for the Angel fans to be back in the postseason. His teammates to be back in the postseason. It was genuine. Felt great about it. I mean, you think about what this team has been through this year. A lot of clubs have been through some serious injuries, but the Angels have been too, and they've had the best record in the game. They've just been resilient.
I think that's been the underlying tone of this team from spring training on, is the resiliency that they've shown day in and day out. Not too high, not too low. Overcome adversity. This one's bunted. That's a fair ball. No, foul ball. David Rackley. Home-plate umpire making the call. Nice try by Chris Iannetta.
Yeah, tried to field that one, or at least had the perception of fielding that ball in fair territory. Yeah, clearly just foul.
0-2 count on Martin, who struck out looking at the first.
Trying to keep his feet in bounds. College rules or NFL rules, trying to keep them both in.
And down goes Martin. Gave up on the breaking ball. 3rd strikeout of the night for Weaver. So head to the bottom of the 3rd. The Angels have the top of their order coming up. YSO in celebration of their 50th anniversary. Sections 1 and 10 in Los Angeles are still open for registration. Find your local region and sign up for fall soccer now at ayso.org. Now. 3 innings for Jared Weaver. 2 hits allowed, 3 strikeouts, no walks. He's got himself a 1-0 lead. Cole Calhoun to lead things off here against Colby Lewis. It's 1-0. Calhoun, a fly ball to deep right center field, but tracked down by Leonis Martin. He is 0 for 1.
Sorry.
1 ball, 1 strike. Got underneath this one. This one's out to shallow center. Elvis Andrus makes the call and he drops the baseball.
I was going to say, he's had to go a long way a couple times. At some point, an outfielder's got to call him off.
You know, that I agree with you to a certain extent, but that seemed like such a routine play that he, instead of catching it up above his shoulders, it almost looked like he tried to bring it down into like the basket catch. But Martin was there as well, to your point.
Yeah, it's an easier play for an outfielder coming in as compared to an infielder going out. And still, you just never quite know how close the outfielder is to you. But still, that's a play you should make.
Yeah.
That's 18 errors now on the season for Andrus.
103rd on the season for Texas. Usually when you see a shortstop or middle infield drifting like that where they slow down, all right, they've got a beat on it. That's probably why Martin just peeled off. Snap throw to first and Cole back. See if the Angels could take advantage of the mistake.
Trinos has 2 pickoffs, back picks like that. One thing the Angels have done, when an opponent makes a mistake, they've capitalized quickly and often.
Martin, by the way, has had his share of mistakes in center field. 8 errors for a center fielder. That's a lot.
It's extremely high amount for an outfielder.
Trout walked and scored in the first. There's Tim Bogart, interim skipper. That is drilled out to center. Martin back. That is gone. Big fly for Mike Trout, makes it 3-0 Angels.
Boy, that's Bo Jackson territory in the '89 All-Star game. Talked about Barry Bonds territory for Bosch last night. That's Bo Jackson territory for Mike Trout. Boy, a no-doubter. Well, you can see right here on the Phantom Cam. You talk about getting the barrel of the bat on the baseball with extension and driving that baseball to center field. Baseball is crushed. And taking advantage of a mistake again.
Albert takes down low. He lined out to Smolinski at right in the first inning. Trout with his 35th home run, and now at 109 runs batted in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nelson Cruz leading the way as far as home runs are concerned. At the start of the day with 39 as Albert lays off. Baltimore, by the way, still leading Boston 7-2 at Camden Yards. And that is ripped to left field. Rua will play it on a hop. Long single for Albert.
Well, this baseball will go back after that line drive by Pujols. Go back and look at Mike Trout's shot. Boy, all the infielders just turned around and had to look how far this baseball went. That is crushed. 111 runs scored now for Trout, which leads the American League in that category also. Oh, it's a long way.
Yeah, just ask Rick Russell.
Yeah. Pitch thrown, pitch gone.
Russell, the one that served it up for Bo. How he looks at a strike. He doubled home a run in the first inning. 31st double, 72nd RBI. Houston ended up pounding Seattle 10-1. Mariners missing an opportunity.
That's a huge loss for Seattle.
This one lifted to shallow right field. Smolinski broke back, now he in. And, he'll put it away for the first out. Well, they had their hands full going into that start. Dallas Keuchel on the mound for the Astros. Chris Young now. Maybe that magic starting to wear off a little bit.
He hasn't thrown that many innings in a couple of seasons. He's had a great year, great comeback story for Seattle.
So Seattle will remain a half game back in the second wild card. That is Kansas City. And a game back of Oakland. Chopper toward the right side. Odor feeds Andrus for one. The relay back to first is in time. A double play turned by the Rangers. Ends it for the Halos here in the third. But Mike Trout extends the Angels' lead above the center. Trout hits his 35th of the season. 3-0 Angels. Here in the top of the fourth inning, courtesy of Mike Trout's two-run shot to extend the lead. As the home run leaderboard, Nelson Cruz is not homered tonight. He's got 39. Chris Carter has 37. Trout, Abreu, Ortiz with 35. I think Big Papi homered to give Boston an early lead, but it's been all Baltimore since. 2, 3, and 4 for Texas. Andrus, Odor, and Beltre here in the fourth inning. Elvis struck out looking at the first, so he's 0 for 1. Good career numbers against Weaver. Chopper to the right side. One down. Take a look at the Kia standings as far as best records in baseball and the American League specifically. The Angels a 2-game advantage over Baltimore as it stands right now, with Baltimore having won tonight 7-2 over Boston. If the Angels win, that lead remains 2.5.
And you don't want to be tied with them because they'll win that tie-breaking record because of the win-loss record for Baltimore versus the Angels.
Yeah, that half-game swing will come off next week. I imagine it'd be Thursday. Take a look at the scoreboard here. With the Angels being idle. Yeah, Baltimore's playing on Monday, so Thursday they'll play while the Angels will have the off day in Seattle. So they could either pick up a half game or drop a half game. Odor chases the off-speed pitch.
That's the thing that makes Weaver special, is the fact that he can throw his changeup after his fastball is so good, and then you start looking fastball, and then you get the changeup, then you get a high fastball.
That is up and in. 2 balls and a strike. Orioles will be in New York. As a matter of fact, they finished the last week of the season on the road. 4 in New York and 3 in Toronto.
Neither one of those teams are fun to play at this time of the year, especially New York trying to stay alive in that wild card race.
Odor takes a strike. 2-2. Doesn't like the call. New York 4.5 back at the start of the day. Ended up losing today to the Blue Jays. Down goes Odor, 2 outs. Vote season seat deposits for the 2015 season now being accepted. Place your deposit now to receive priority for postseason ticket options this season. For more info to place your deposit, just call 888-796-HALO or log on at angels.com/season seats. So the Yankees failed to gain any ground on the wild cards. It becomes that much more difficult for them. Cleveland's got an opportunity to make up some ground. They lead Minnesota. First one to Beltre is down and away. They missed a golden opportunity yesterday. Cleveland did, as the Twins came back and defeated them, tying it in the 9th and winning in extras.
And we keep talking about that home field advantage throughout the playoffs. The Angels will have home field advantage in that first round at ALDS for sure, no matter what. But you want to have it that next round for sure also, and into the World Series.
Chopper foul. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. And considering the way the Angels have played at home this year, 51-28, best record in baseball at home, but you want to maintain that home field advantage.
And this place can get loud. We saw that before in the past in the postseason.
Just off the corner. 2 balls and a strike. Beltre doubled down the left field line in the second inning, his 30th double, but eventually stranded at third base as Rua hit into an inning-ending double play. 2-1 pitch. It is out toward center. Trout in a couple of steps. And a 1-2-3 shutdown inning for Weaver. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th. Halos leading at 3-0.
Better. Call 1-855-1TWC. By the 2014 Camry at your Toyota dealer today, we make it easy. And by AT&T Uverse TV, mobilizing your world. Halos up 3-0 as we begin the bottom of the fourth inning. Freeze, Bosch, and Iannetta for the Angels here against Colby Lewis. And the first one for a strike. Freeze popped out to lead off the second, so he's 0 for 1. 45 pitches for Colby. 29 have been strikes. This one's fouled back, and it's 0-2. Settled down after a home run by Trout and a single by Pujols to get Kendrick to fly out and get a double play ball off the bat of Eric Anwar. 4 hits for the Angels, 2 for Texas. No strikeouts and a walk for Lewis. Off the plate. 1-2.
Well, that was a great World Series back in 2011.
This one out toward right center field, and Martin was shading him that way. 1 down. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're a Cardinal fan, if you're a Ranger fan, not so much.
Yeah, probably not. That game 6 was epic. Back and forth.
Yep.
Texas thinking they have the World Series won.
And some would argue they should have.
Yes. But you have to get that last out.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. I remember that well in '85.
No 26 outs?
No.
Not a, hey, great job through 26 outs.
Yeah, it's good effort, though.
You win.
Just move forward.
No, you got to get the 27th out. Bosch takes a strike, and it's 1-1. Yeah, St. Louis Cardinals know the pain.
Yeah. That's okay.
1-2. Although some would argue that the call at first should have gone the Cardinals' way.
Oh, no. He was safe. George Order was no question. He was safe. But the umpire called him.
The umpire did call him safe.
Yes. Denkinger.
Yeah. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I guess you can't really argue that.
No. Bosch's 450-foot shot last night. Hit speed 112.3 miles per hour. It's the fastest by any Angel home run at home this season. That ball was crushed. So we had a Barry Bonds type home run last night, a Bo Jackson type home run tonight by Mike Trout. Yeah, this baseball went out a long way and quickly. It looked like it went to the hot dog stand to get something to eat after that.
Off speed pitch too. Second as an Angel. And he cuts through the fastball. 2 down. First strikeout for Colby Lewis.
Hit speed tonight for Trout off that pitch from Colby Lewis last inning. 104.6 miles per hour.
Two outs, bases clear for Chris Iannetta. Hit a fly ball to center field in the second.
Well, there is some serious talent in baseball right now, especially some young talent that's going to be on display in the postseason. Trout getting that opportunity. I was watching a game on Fox today. Yasiel Puig made a play in center field where he dove out of nowhere at Wrigley Field and made an outstanding play. Tons of talent on display in the Fall Classic.
One, 2 to Iannetta. Downstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Colby Lewis picks up his first 1, 2, 3 innings. We played 4 here at Angel Stadium. Halos on top 3-0.
In 2005, Bartolo Colon beat Texas at home for its 20th win. Point the first Angel to be a 20-game winner since 1974. Nolan Ryan. Jerry Weaver, 20-game winner himself back in 2012.
He had a 20-win season prior to that too, but it was with 2 teams that didn't become an all-star that year.
Pretty impressive group. Messersmith, Clyde Wright, Mr. No-No himself, 20-game winner, and my guy, Dean Chase. Bill Singer.
Bartolo, I think, had 10 with Cleveland, 10 with Montreal.
Still having a solid season again this year.
Yeah.
Still pitching, still getting people out.
So you're saying there's a chance, Mark? Go get that injection, that whatever platelet thing they're doing.
No.
No?
I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
You want to play catch in the offseason?
No.
Crank it back up?
No.
Smolinski, Taylor, and Rua for Texas. This one's popped up on the third base side. David Freese into foul territory. 1 down.
The changeup. Remember that last at bat, Smolinski was all over a slider. First pitch eventually got him out at the pop up in the infield on a fastball, and this time gets him on a changeup.
8 straight retired by Weaver. Has 4 strikeouts, no walks, 2 hits allowed. Both of those hits happening in the second. Taylor had 1 of those hits. That was a base hit to right.
He stayed back pretty well on a curveball for a base hit, so you wonder if we will stick with a fastball here. First pitch, fastball away, but out of the zone.
23-year-old native of Venezuela. As the count evened up on him. At least this year with AA and AAA. Frisco and Round Rock combined hit .318, 5 home runs and 50 runs batted in. Is low. 2 balls, 1 strike.
.50 pitches thrown for Weaver so far. 35 strikes. Coming off a 12 strikeout, 7-inning dominant performance last time out.
Stumbles after delivering that one. 3 balls, 1 strike.
That 7 innings only threw 101 pitches. 76 of them strikes. A little over 75% of his pitches last time out were strikes.
Push back to tonight. It's scheduled to be the starter on Thursday, but after the Angels clinched on Wednesday. In line now to Take one more start, the regular season, and then we'll get that opening game start in the division series. Payoff pitch. Elise gets this one a second. Now he's got it. 2 down. Hey folks, take a look at the 2014 North American Truck of the Year, the Chevy Silverado. You can enter to win the Summer of Silverado giveaway. For a chance to win the 2014 Silverado, enter online today at angels.com/Chevy Chevrolet, the official ride of the Angels. 2 down, nobody on, and it's Ryan Rua to play, left fielder. Rua last night a 4-hit game, 3 singles and a double. He will look at a strike, grounded into a double play. His first at bat, his 4 hits, first career big league 4-hit game. It's his 6th multi-hit game in his last 11. Now it's down and away.
He's pretty solid in the outfield too.
Yeah.
Very aggressive, fearless.
We were in Texas. We saw him at first base as well. Doesn't look overwhelmed at all at the plate. He looks, as a matter of fact, looks for a young guy, first taste of big league life, very confident at the plate. 1-2.
And it's not an easy guy to get comfortable facing either with Weaver, because he can throw 4 pitches at any point and throw them for strikes and get easy outs.
Slider missing down and away. Two from Weaver. Off speed is foul back. So, toward the netting, and no play.
It's the second time a pop-up's landed in that same spot.
So we'll reset and do it again. Weaver facing a Texas team that has been red hot. We mentioned the 7-game winning streak. Offensively, they've hit .320 during that streak, 46 runs. They've also pitched extremely well, a 1.86 ERA during that 7-game streak. Missed in. Full count now. Robinson Chirinos, the catcher, is on deck.
Well, this is a time as a hitter, especially a young hitter, you're thinking fastball, 3-2 count, but that's not what Weaver does too often. He might drop a changeup here.
First full count of the ball game for Weaver. Breaking ball, got him. A 1-2-3 inning for Weaver, picks up his 5th strikeout as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Angels still up. To lead things off, want to remind you this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Los Angeles Angels and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Angels Baseball LP. Navarro, Calhoun, and Trout for the Angels here in the fifth against Colby Lewis, coming off his first 1-2-3 inning, which included his first 2 strikeouts of the game. Navarro ripped one to left field in his first at bat. It was tracked down by Rue on the warning track. So Efren is 0 for 1.
Well, he made that nice play on that short wall down the left field line, Rue, last night also.
.60 pitches for Weaver, 5 innings, 5 Ks, 2 hits. Double by Beltran, a single by Talese. This one's popped up. Chirinos with the mask off. It looks like Beltre is going to call him off. He does. 1 down.
Well, that drifted right back into territory.
So up steps Cole Calhoun with 1 out, nobody on. Texas with no runs, 2 hits in there. They've left 1 on. The Angels 3 runs, 5 hits. They've stranded 2 base runners. Calhoun's 0 for 2. Led off the 3rd inning. And that pop up to shallow center field that was dropped by Elvis Andrus. Andrus charged with an error. He's 18th over the year. And then Trout followed with the home run to center field. Pulled to first. Rosales has it on 2 hops, races to the bag, and he just beats Calhoun for round number 2.
Well, Trout back in the 3rd inning after an error made. Texas in the field. Andrus crushes that one to dead center field for a 2-run home run. Give him a 109 RBI and 35 home run. And 82 extra base hits for Trout.
Home run and a walk tonight. 2 runs scored. Lays off, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Trout leads the American League in runs scored now with 111. Brian Dozier's second. You have the Twins.
Mike Trout this year on a 2-1 count. He's ahead of the count here, 2-1, hitting .563.
Lays off.
I don't blame him.
Pujols on deck. Pulled foul. It's a full count. Payoff pitch. That was fouled back, went upstairs. '70th pitch of the night for Lewis. That's drilled out towards center field. Martin back at the wall, and that is off the top of the fence. Trout racing around and easily gets to third, a stand-up triple.
Make that 83 extra base hits for Mike Trout. A walk, a home run, and a triple in this game so far. Surprised that baseball stayed in the park. That was awesome by the fan. What a swing once again by Mike Trout. Sees it, stays in the yard. Easy cruises in for a triple. His ninth. That was a great reaction by the fan.
Yeah. Nice job, too, by Jake Smolinski to play the carom in right center field. Keeping Trout at third. So Pujols will bat here with 2 outs. He'll look at his strike. Albert 1 for 2. A single and a fly ball to right.
Good opportunity.
Triple of the year for Trout.
Good opportunity to pick up at least RBI number 99 now for Albert.
Oh, if you're going to go to 99, just go to 100. This one's fouled off to the right.
Another perfect swing, compact through the baseball well. Thought it had a chance getting out off that wall, high wall. But you're right, Victor. Smolinski did a great job of backing that up. That might have been real interesting if he wasn't there.
Yeah. Or if he was late getting there. With 2 outs, why wouldn't you send him off the plate? 1 and 2.
I think Torrey would say, Hunter, that's the way he used to run when he first came up to.
Reminds him of a young Torrey. Yeah. That's out toward left center field. Martin is back, and there's his 100th run batted in. 5-0 Angels.
Special moment for Albert Pujols. RBI number 99 and 127th home run, second hit of the game for Pujols. Way to go, Victor. Way to call that one.
Howie lines with the right center field. And Kendrick picks up his second hit of the ball game.
There's some real good swings against Colby Lewis tonight. His baseball went well up in the rock pile. While getting that balance, that lower part of his body to generate the power. Head is still, barrel to bat, and way out to center field in the rock pile. Well, we talked about that early in spring training, how he was using that lower part of his body. His legs were better to generate that type of power. 12th season with 100 or more RBI in his career for the future Hall of Famer.
1 ball, no strikes on Eric Ibarn. And if you were wondering whether or not there was a lingering effect of that cramp that Pujols had, his left hamstring a couple of days ago, I think he's kind of put that to rest.
No question.
Ibarn lines a single to center. That's 4 consecutive 2-out hits allowed by Colby Lewis. Now we'll get the Rangers bullpen going, and we'll certainly get a visit by Mike Maddox. Eric 1 for 3 after that base hit. just quickly look. I think that snaps an 0 for 18 for Ibar. David Freese gets into one to left center field. Nobody's going to get this one. Gone! Big fly for David Freese makes it 8-0 Angels.
That's his 10th home run. Now 55 RBIs for David Freese. Yeah. Good reaction when he got across home plate for Freese. Yes, he got this one. Another perfect swing. Arms extended, barrel of the bat, and strong. Even though he was out in front slightly, well out to left center field. He's using his lower part of his body very well, too, to generate the power.
Bosch fouls one off to the left. 5 consecutive 2-out hits.
Another one of those huge innings once again. A 5-run fifth.
Oh, 2 count on Bosch.
Some serious distance being hit tonight.
Michael Kirkman, the lefty, is the first man up for Texas. Oh, 2. Breaking ball against Bosch, and the inning is over, but not before the Angels strike for 5 runs, 2 home runs included. Albert Pujols, 27th of the year, a 2-run shot, giving him 100 RBIs on the season. And David Freese, the capper, a 3-run shot, his 10th of the season.
Great swings from guys that've been in the Fall Classic before.
Insurance. Get a fast free quote at mercuryinsurance.com today and see how much you can save. Buy Jack in the Box and Jack's Spicy Chicken Club Combo for just $4.99 plus tax. And buy Hyundai. The all-new Sonata is here. Visit buyhyundai.com. Halos up 8-0 here at the top of the 6th inning. Jared Weaver back to work. He's retired 10 straight. Freese and Pujols going deep in the 5th inning. 3 home runs in the ball game for the Angels.
Some serious distance. I changed my key to the game to long distance run around by yes. That was some distance so far.
Yeah. The Angels have had only one home game with more than 3 home runs this year. That was against the Mets in 5. That's a season high, home or road. One ball, 1 strike. Robinson Chirinos.
Not a bad spot for that 88-mile-an-hour fastball from Weaver.
That game that had 5 was April 13th against the Mets, a 14-2 win. That sound right to you that Mets were here in April?
I was just going to say, in April.
Then again, the way the season started here, that home schedule, 3-game sweep by the Seattle Mariners. This one's out to center, playable for Trout. 1 down.
Then started playing better baseball, over 500. What, 1 game under 500 in the month of April, which was a huge improvement. Well, we've seen the last few seasons. Mike Scioscia stressed that in spring training, stressed the fact that they have to play better within their division.
Adam Rosales steps in, 0 for 1 as he popped out to Kendrick, his first time up. Slow curveball for a strike. Angels may have seen the last of Colby Lewis as action continues in the Rangers' pen. Upstairs with the changeup. It's the first time that Lewis allowed 8 or more runs since the game on July 10th when he gave up 13 runs. 11 earned to the Angels. Caught the inside corner, 1-2. Two to Rosales. Swing and a miss. 2 down.
Tried to stay back on that curveball, but couldn't make contact on the strikeout for Weaver. Curveball at 69 miles an hour. See, that's that break. The 11-5 break is compared to a 12-6 straight up and down. That's what he's had. A little bit different arm angle for Jared Weaver, but it's been very effective throwing his curveball from that angle.
Martin takes outside. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Weaver has 6 of them tonight with no walks and 2 hits allowed. Fouled right off the leg.
Fastball in and right off just below the kneecap, off the shin area. Gonna try to walk it off, but that got him pretty good. Especially because you're planting that leg and then you hit that ball right off the shin. No protection there at that spot of his leg.
1-2 now. A swing and a miss. Down goes Martin. Another 1-2-3 inning for Weaver. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th. 8-0 Halos.
Big flies in this game so far. Mike Trout, dead center field, 2-run home run. Albert Pujols, a 2-run home run, giving 100 RBI now on the season. And then David Freese, a 3-run home run, giving him his 10th home run of the season. The offense piling it on here tonight, and Jared Weaver taking advantage of it with outstanding stuff. Good fastball early on, then settling in with that very good curveball and changeup to get 7 punch-outs.
Mike Scioscia on the phone, and you wonder how much longer Jared Weaver will be in the ball game. That last punch out of Leonys Martinez, 1,400th of his career. No action as of yet. And the Angels will set up by net on Navarro and Calhoun here in the 6th inning. Michael Kirkman, the lefty, takes over on the mound for Colby Lewis. Kirkman 0-1 with a 3 ERA in 8 games at the major league level this year. Sorry, in and out. Who's in, who's out?
Kirkman fastball, 87-92 slider, occasional changeup. His overall velocity's down quite a bit this season. Last couple seasons, average fastball around 93, 94. This year, at 89.
And then it fouls this one back, and it's an 0-1 count.
Remember, at one point there was conversation he would be in the starting rotation at some point. They'd hoped. Now settling into the bullpen once again.
Season high of games at the major league level, 28 back in 2012. Howard misses outside to even the count at Round Rock AAA this year. 5-5 with a 4.47 ERA in 36 games. And that includes 4 starts. Colby Lewis, by the way, 5 innings, 9 hits, 3 home runs included in those 9. 3 strikeouts and a walk, 8 runs, 7 earned. Ground ball to short. Elvis Andrus has it. The ball got out of the hurry. 1 down. And the most popular way to follow the Angels push to the postseason is with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. You can enjoy live look-ins, replay reviews, scores, live radio broadcasts, the MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Get at bat for your smartphone or tablet at the App Store. Log on at Angels.com for more details. Nettle with that grounder is now 0 for 3. Navarro steps in. He's 0 for 2 on the night. Fly ball to deep left and a pop-up. Adrian Beltre, the third baseman. Kirkman miss down low. Kirkman designated for assignment at the end of spring training. Cleared. And there's option down the round right. His contract purchase on September the 2nd. Just inside. It's 2 balls, 1 strike. Been a Ranger's entire life. 28 years of age. 5th round pick in 05. Columbia High School in Lake City, Florida. Two balls, 2 strikes. Two from Kirkman. Lofted it to left. A base hit. Good piece of hitting with 2 strikes.
Pretty tough pitch, but a good piece of hit, like you said, Victor. Monday key to this game tonight. Talk about a little Taylor Swift. After a 2-game losing streak, shake it off, and they certainly have done so tonight. Swinging the bats extremely well, and Jared Weaver dealing through 6 shutout innings.
Not overly familiar with that Taylor Swift song. Could you hum a few bars for us?
It probably wouldn't be a good idea.
No?
No.
Even with the 8-0 lead in the 6th? Just a couple. Play, name that tune.
Felt a little Pennsylvanian, though. So maybe I should.
This one pulled down the line. Rosales has it. Touches the bag. Fires to second. They have to tag out Navarro. They do. Nice play by Adam Rosales on the 3-6 double play. We'll head to the 7th. Angels still lead it. Bad photo, and your photo could be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. There's our picture of the day. Roberta Orona. Or Roberta Orona.
Oh, nice.
Not even after 10:30.
Said well.
Yeah. You roll your R's? No, can't hum Taylor Swift. No rolling of the R's. All right. But you like long, slow walks on the beach?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. At sunset.
Yes.
Jared Weaver back to work here in the 7th. Andrews, Odor, and Beltre. That is the 74th pitch of the night for Jared Weaver. 50th strike. 7 punch outs. No walks.
4-2. 1,400 of them in his career. Back-to-back 85-mile-an-hour fastballs, the exact same spot.
Elvis Andrus tonight, a strikeout and a ground ball out. 0 for 2. Curveball out towards Shell. 14th consecutive batter retired by Jared Weaver. One out here in the 7th. Last man to reach, Tomas Telis, DH, with a single to right. Now it's in the 2nd inning. Odor's 0 for 2 with a ground ball to short and a strikeout. One ball, one strike. Wrap up this homestand tomorrow afternoon with a 12:35 start. Nick Tepesh on the mound for Texas. Corey Rasmus going for the Angels. That one just got away from Weaver. 2 balls and a strike. There's Corey's done a nice job filling in the rotation.
Done a very good job.
Foul tipped into the mitt. 4
quality pitches for Rasmus. His changeup is excellent also. Good feel for his curveball, slider. Good velocity on his fastball too. War scoreless the other day.
Popped up toward the Angels dugout, headed to the seats though. The count remains at 2-2.
And look at our Phantom Cam. He has maintained his mechanics throughout this entire game. The shoulders and then the drive towards the plate. Still keeps that elbow up and elevated. It allows him to work downstairs with all his pitches. He can elevate when he wants to, but stays downstairs very effectively.
Change of missing down and in. Just a second full count for Weaver tonight. And he walked him. It's the first free pass issued by Weaver. Puts a man on with 1 out here. Beltre coming up.
And Weaver, the perfectionist that he is, was not real happy with himself for walking Odor.
Beltre at 1 for 2, double in the 2nd, a fly ball to center in the 4th. He shoots one down the right field line, going for extra bases. Odor with good speed on his way to 3rd. Calhoun plays the carom perfectly, gets the baseball back in. It'll hold Odor at 3rd base. So Beltre picks up his 2nd double of the night. And Texas with runners at 2nd and 3rd with 1 out here in the 7th. Nice job by Calhoun at right field to play the carom perfectly.
It was hit well. Fastball right out over the plate, and there's a reason why Beltre's batting average is as high as it is, because he uses the entire field right down the right field line. And Cole going down to that corner, and retrieves it, gets it in quickly to the cutoff man.
Infield back with 1 out and an 8-0 lead here in the 7th. Jake Smolinski, the batter, chops this one to short. The run will score. 2 down. Smolinski picks up his 11th RBI. Beltre remains at 2nd base, and Tomas Telis, the DH tonight, will come up. Spencer Patton getting ready for Texas. Looks like he'll be pitching the bottom of the 7th. Angels have Trout, Pujols, and Kendrick due up. 1-0. Angels with a solo run in the 1st, 2 in the 3rd on Trout's 35th home run of the season to make it 3-0, and then they erupted with 2 outs with 5 straight hits. It started with Trout's triple. Pujols 2-run home run, 27th of the year now with 100 RBIs. Back-to-back singles by Kendrick and Ibar, and frees the capper with his 10th home run.
It's really amazing to watch Jared Weaver throw his changeup, how he commands the strike zone with that pitch, both inside and outside. He can throw it behind in the count. Even if you don't swing as a hitter, it's generally going to be in the strike zone.
Snap throw to second base, trying to get Beltre, and they almost got him. Good throw by Iannetta.
Iannetta with 3 pickoffs this year, almost had his 4th. Drifting for that secondary lead and a firm throw. Like he just got his foot back in. Yeah, foot on the base just as Eric Ibar applies the tag.
Two-on pitch. There's a high fastball. 2-2. Change-up popped him up. Ibar drifting out, calls off Navarro. Now Navarro calls him off. Makes the catch for the 3rd out. Texas gets on the board. We head to the bottom of the 7th. Still, Angels 8, Texas 1 now. New pitcher on for the Texas Rangers. Spencer Patton takes over on the mound for Michael Kirkman. Kirkman going 1 inning, 1 hit. The rest zeros. Helped out by nice play by Adam Rosales to turn a double play to finish off the 6th inning. Patton pitching now in his 7th career game. He got traded over from the Kansas City Royals in the Jason Frazier deal.
Yeah, Patton's fastball is 90-94, good sink action, slider, very good slider, and an occasional changeup.
The Angels have Trout, Pujols, and Kendrick coming up here. At the bottom of the 7th inning, what a game that Mike Trout has had already. He's been on board 3 times with a walk, a home run, and a triple. And this is where he put that home run back in the 3rd inning.
Bo Jackson territory. Strong. Trout going way out to center field.
Cuts through the first one. No balls to the strike. No record of 150 ERA for Spencer Patton. Originally a 24th round pick by Kansas City in 2011. Trout with 3 runs scored tonight. Went around. 2-2.
That fastball had some good running action. He had a pretty good hack at that fastball in the inner half on an 0-2 pitch.
One or two. His 5th game this year that Trout has scored 3 runs, which is high watermark for the season. Two balls, 2 strikes. He's had 1 game in his career in which he has scored 4 runs in a ballgame. That was against San Francisco Giants back in 2012. This one fouled off to the right, back inside with a fastball, so the count remains at 2-2.
4 of the 6 pitches so far in this at-bat against Trout have been inside.
Two. And got him looking. Outside corner, 1 down. Bring up Albert.
When Albert Pujols needing 2 RBIs tonight to get to that century mark. 2-run home run, 2 RBI. 100 now on the season for Albert Pujols.
Just over that sign that says big boy territory.
Oh, yeah. Ask George Brett on that RBI total now.
You text George? Not yet. 2 balls, no strikes.
As soon as it was hit.
Yeah. As soon as it was hit.
It was flying through the air. I said, you're down on the list now.
Fouls this one off to the right. 2 balls and a strike.
Albert, a good part of his life, grew up and lived in that Kansas City area. Went to high school out there.
That's line to center. What a rocket back up the middle. 3-hit game for Pujols.
Well, what a swing once again. And then the reaction, and you're just hoping it's hit high enough. It's not directly right at you. Patton. Well, there's not a lot of time when you're on the mound to get out of the way of this line drive, and another perfect swing. Even the 1 out that Albert has made in this game was a shot to right field. See, when the home run to center, a shot to left, and now that one back up the middle. Hit speed off the bat, 106 miles per hour. You figure when you land and release the baseball as a pitcher, you're about 50 feet away. That's no fun.
The old chuck and duck. Open 24/7.
Yes. And sometimes just hope.
Check swing foul. Count remains at 0-2 on Kendrick, who has a couple of hits tonight himself. The Angels have a total of 11 hits tonight, 3 of which have been home runs. Howie picking up his 31st double in the first inning, also notching his 72nd run batted in. There's no action in the Angels bullpen, so it looks like Weaver will be coming back out for the 8th. Bottom third of the order due up for Texas.
It's amazing how much trust Howie has in his hands. He let that fastball travel deep in the strike zone. It was a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Also, still confident enough to hit that one just foul, make a good contact. Boy, Howie's really adjusted and really likes hitting that number 4 spot in this lineup. Just 3 RBI away from his career high at 75. This is his career high, 72 so far this year.
Watch out. Oh, no. Slipping out of the hand. 1-2.
And over the head of Howie. Dropped his elbow. Patton did. When you do that, that fastball has a chance of riding up and in on a right-handed batter.
33rd game for Kendrick in that cleanup spot. He's at 310 coming in tonight. Check swing foul. That one fouled back off of Robinson Chirinos.
Slider. He's trying to make contact and then right off the shin guard. Even though you have that shin guard, still velocity off the bat and off that shin guard is still, you're going to feel some pain and some discomfort.
Pulled through the hole. 3rd hit of the ball game for Kendrick. Pujols advances to second.
And now it's time for the Carl's Jr. Sports Update around the majors. Scherzer and Shields in an AL Central showdown. Scherzer wins. That was a close game, 3-2. Wins his 17th game, and can the Pirates raise the Jolly Roger again? They end up losing to Milwaukee 1-0. Milwaukee scoring 1 run, sac fly, top of the 9th, and hold on for the victory for the Brewers.
Here it's 8-1 Angels. 2 on with 1 out. Ibar at the plate. Eric singled his last time up. And I had said at that point that snapped it 0 for 18. It was actually 0 for 17. Angels have had some games during this homestand in which, because of blowout one way or the other, a couple of at-bats and out of the game. Not only for Eric, but a number of the regulars.
Eric
that over 17 snuck up on us.
I had no idea that one. Career high as far as RBI this season for Ibar with 67.
Little dribbler to the right side. Patton had it. It's to Rosales. 2 down. Pujols to 3rd, Kendrick to 2nd, and up steps David Freese, and this is what he did back in the 5th inning.
Well, we've seen some shots from Freese of late. A lot of good shots to right center field. This one to left center field. 3-run home run. In double figures now in home runs. Got 24 doubles, a triple, now 55 RBI.
Fastball just off the plate for ball one. 23 pitches thrown by Patton so far. Angel fans have the light wave going now. One ball, one strike. Took him a while to get it going tonight.
It's in force right now, though.
Yeah. Two balls, one strike. That one missing off the plate. Poole standing at third base. Kendrick at second. Two. Halos tonight 2 for 4 with men in scoring position so far. Good rip on that fastball.
Boy, does he look comfortable. We were talking about the other day. He's really excited about the postseason, especially where his swing is at right now.
And he struck him out with a fastball inning over. The Angels will head to the 8th inning, leading at 8-1. Back out of the mound. He's allowed just 3 hits tonight. 7 strikeouts and 1 walk. Tony Campana takes over in left field for Efren Navarro. Gordon Beckham takes over for David Freese over at third. I'd imagine that Beckham will bat in the 9th spot while Campana will bat in the 6th.
We talk about all time as far as Major League history top home records. Winning percentage, Jared Weaver, .708, which is 4th best. He's 68-28. Lefty Grove, Ron Guidry, Lefty Gomez, only better as far as home record percentage, winning percentage wise. Weaver, fantastic here at the Big A. We'll start game 1 of the ALDS here at the Big A.
Ruan, Chirinos, and Rosales for Texas here in the 8th. That was the 91st pitch thrown by Weaver. Really the righty. Thatcher the lefty for the Halos. Ryan Ruan 0 for 2 tonight.
Speaking of great lefties, our buddy Chuck Finley has had hip replacement surgery today, resting comfortably, checking out the game, kicking back. We'll be back out in the golf course playing with you pretty soon, I'm sure.
Now I got a chance.
Yeah. One of the greats of all time, both on the mound and in that dugout, Chuck Finley.
Two balls, two strikes. Foul back.
His most wins as an Angel pitcher. Chuck Finley at the top, 165. Nolan Ryan, 138. Weave with 130.
Foul back. Good changeup. Count remains at 2-2. Jared looking for his 18th win of the season. We'll have one more start, regular season start before the postseason. Around 2 hits in the second and 1 in the 7th. Curveball, and it's just a little bit high, although
that looked pretty good.
Maybe got the top part of the strike zone.
That one is 67-mile-an-hour curveball. And yep, right at the top part of the strike zone.
3-2, yank foul. Slightly out in front of the off-speed pitch. Wait, what if he goes to a slider here?
Throwing everything else, curveball, changeups, fastballs. See if you can get him out in front, chase the slider down and away.
Foul back.
Still pretty good, consistent velocity. That fastball, 88. Rua has a pretty good idea at the plate. Speed, range here, pitch wise, 91 best fastball, slowest breaking ball at 67. 24-mile-an-hour differential for Weaver tonight.
This one's hit to left, a base hit. So Rua's on board. The leadoff single to start this 8th inning. And they bring up Robinson Chirinos, the catcher.
We got a pitch by pitch for Rua versus Weaver. First pitch, change up down, fastball down. Back in the count with a slider, fastball away, even it up. Fastball, straight back foul, change up. Fouled straight back, break a ball, thought it was in the strike zone. And a changeup pole foul. Fastball again, foul back, and then a fastball down, dropped the head of the bat. Base hit, credit for Rua. Good at bat.
Yeah. 10 total pitches. Leadoff man on board. Chirinos, the catcher, at the plate. He's 0 for 2. A ground ball to third and a fly ball to center.
And I think this will be the last batter for Weaver. He seems to be kind of reaching back and trying to get that little extra on the fastball. You want to have Weaver maintain his mechanics we saw last game into this game.
This is down toward left center field, a base hit. Trout cuts it off to the back edge. Chirinos keeps on running, then slams on the brakes as Trout's throw goes to second. So the first two have reached here in the 8th, and here comes Mike Scioscia. And Jared Weaver's going to be done here. Jason Grilli, loosening of the pen, is going to come into the ball game. And Jared Weaver, another spectacular start for him. And he will walk off with an 8-1 lead and a terrific round of applause. 102 pitches, 7 strikeouts, 5 hits. 1 run. He's responsible for 2 guys on base. Brewers standing at third. Chirinos hit first. Jason Grilli comes into the ball game. Makes Adam Rosales.
What an outstanding effort by Weaver, and the appreciation the fans showed him as he walked off the mound. Loud ovation.
So the Grilli's first outing since Tuesday. And that was the game in which he lasted a third of an inning against Seattle. Gave up 4 runs on 2 hits. 37th game, 1-3 mark at a 3.48 ERA. Adam Rosales 0 for 2 tonight. Pop up and a strikeout. Chopper to the left side, and that's beyond backup. So 3 straight hits for Texas. That run comes across, and it's 8-2. Yeah, this is a team that's been swinging the bat well, and they don't miss many fastballs, and they certainly have it in the 7-game winning streak.
Yeah, if they get a fastball, they're extremely aggressive swinging at it.
Rosales picks up his 19th RBI. At the top of the order now, Leonis Martin is 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. One ball, no strikes. Texas now with 6 hits. Ground ball toward the middle. Kendrick goes in a dive. Has it. Flips it to Ibar. It's the only play they get, and it's a fantastic one for the first down.
Yeah, great range on the dive by Howie. Flip over to Eric Ibar. You're not going to double up Martin. Even though he's still struggling a little bit after that foul ball off his leg earlier in the game. But great range, knowing and under control, knowing you're just going to get that force out at second, and that's what they were able to do.
First and third now with 1 out, and Andrews at the plate. Got to pay attention to Martin. Has 29 stolen bases, although he's been caught 11 times. He is the team leader in bags.
Might be on the move. Andrews is grounded into 21 double plays.
First one is in there for a strike. David Rackley, the home plate umpire, has done a pretty good job tonight on both sides. Although Elvis didn't like that first pitch strike, that one misses in. 1-1. Breaking ball, that is in there. 1-2. Rougned Odor, the man on deck. 1 run in for Texas here in the 8th. That run charged to Weaver. Chirinos is his, standing at third base. No. 2-2. Looks like Joe Smith now has joined the bullpen. Loosening with Joe Thatcher. Thatcher's ready to go. Ball gets away from Iannetta, but nobody can advance. Pitch is way off the plate. Full count now.
You wonder if Martin will be going down on a 3-2 pitch with one out.
Doesn't go, and this one's fouled off on the first base side and into the dugout, in and out of the dugout. Oh, reset it, do it again. Really does a pretty good job when the base runner at first base, especially a guy with some speed as far as quick pitching.
Yeah, he really changes it up. I'll hold it, and then go, and then I'll have a quick pitch to throw off the timing of the hitter and the base runner.
It's borderline change of direction.
Yeah, very close.
The old college route. 3-2. And a swing and a miss. Down goes Andrews. 2 down. And in an 8-2 game with runners at the corners here and a lefty coming up, Mike Scioscia is going to play matchup. Joe Thatcher's coming into the ball game. The Angels up. Really here with 2 outs and runners at first and third. Joe last pitched on Thursday through 4 total pitches. And they'll be facing the left-hand hitting Rougned Odor, the second baseman, who's 0 for 2 tonight. He'll do so with runners at first and third, just trying to get out of this inning, having allowed just 1 run. That run charged to Weaver on the base hit that Rosales hit off of Grilly.
It is important at bats for Joe Thatcher, trying to make an impression. Mike Scioscia, as far as that playoff roster, to get those tough situational lefties out.
Chirinos, the base runner at third base, belongs to Weaver. Martin at first is Grillies. The first one from Thatcher. He's outside for ball 1. Odor stayed in on that fastball pretty well, but comes up empty. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, that's a good healthy swing in an 87-mile-an-hour fastball. It's the time if Joe Thatcher, that's where you have to start being able to use your slider after a swing like that on a fastball.
There's the slider, and this one lifted out to shallow center. Will get down for a hit. So Thatcher gives up the hit. Odor picks up the RBI, and the book is closed now on Weaver. 3 runs in his 7 innings. Thatcher unable to get the job done. Martin ends up at second base. So another pitching change here in the 8th. 8-3 Angels. Angels on top. Joe Smith comes into the ball game to try to record the 3rd out here in the 8th. He'll do it to face Adrian Beltre. We take a look at the best record in the American League. The Angels currently at 2 games above Baltimore. A win tonight would keep it at 2.5, and that's what it was at the start of the day.
Boy, how close is that wild card chase now? Oakland, Kansas City, Seattle, separated by half a game. '73rd game season for Joe Smith. 7-2 record. ERA 1.89. Batting average against him 173.
Leonis Martin, the base runner at second. Rougned Odor at first. A good speed on the bases for Texas. Joe Smith last pitched on Wednesday. 13 total pitches. Facing Beltre is 2 for 3 with a couple of doubles and a fly ball to center. First one's inside. Caught the inside corner.
Yeah, good action on that fastball at 88. Good sinker.
Long top of the 8th inning with 2 runs having been plated by Texas. 1-1. Missed hit. 2 balls, 1 strike. Good location down in the zone. 2-2 now. Two to Beltran. Tampa foul at the plate.
Every one of those pitches down. Sink action.
Beltran tired of waiting, backs out. Still a 2 balls, 2 strikes. Beltran, the 7th man to bat for Texas here in the 8th. Now the 2-2. This one's lifted to right field. Long run for Cole Calhoun. That is foul.
Real close.
Beltran looking for his 3rd extra base hit of the night. Now with 31 doubles on the season, with the 2 doubles he picked up earlier tonight.
Another pitch down. Tried to serve that one into right field. That one got a little bit more of the plate that time instead of being down and in. That looks like the approach he's having against Joe, is trying to go the other way. Long conversation between Chris Iannetta and Joe Smith. Must have been that conversation. You want to try a slider now.
Yeah. They could change speeds on it, throw a little frisbee up there, get him out in front. 2-2. And that is drilled out toward left center field. Trout giving chase, not going to get there. One hops the fence. 2 runs will come in to score. Beltran in at second. His 3rd double of the ball game, and now it's 8-5.
He'll try to elevate a fastball instead.
One of those runs charged to Grilly. His 2/3 of an inning. Thatcher gets charged with a run.
Well, this time was able to get his hands in and through the baseball on the inner half because it was elevated that time on a fastball from Joe Smith for Beltran.
So 3 double night for Adrian Beltran, now with 75 RBIs. And here's Jake Smolinski. A look at the strike. Smolinski, and the shot tonight at right field, is 0 for 3. 2 pop-ups and a ground down. He's also picked up an RBI.
Boy, Beltran this year against the Angels, 365. That's coming into the game tonight. Only go higher with 3 hits and 4 at bats. 26 hits.
Thatcher, last one batter, gives up the hit to Odor. 2 outs, and then Smith having to come in, gives up the Beltran double. An 8-1 game has now become a tight game, 8-5. Way outside, and that will allow Beltran to take 3rd on that wild pitch.
It's a well overthrown slider. Left-handed batter's box. They're trying to be ready as a catcher to try to frame a pitch, but that was way outside.
One-two. Smolinski chops this one to 3rd. Beckham has it. Inning over, but not before Texas strikes for 4 as we hit the bottom of the 8th. 8-5 Angels. Angels still lead it, but although a little bit more stressful now as Roman Mendez takes over on the mound. They'll be pitching the 8th inning. It's Bosch, Iannetta, and Beckham are the scheduled 3 batters for the Angels.
And Mendez, good fastball, 92, 96, even occasionally will get up to 98 on a 4-seam fastball. Slider, occasional changeup, split finger fastball.
I mean, it was at the point of an 8-1 lead that Tim Bogart had Neftali Feliz warming up. That's the closer for Texas, so that he can probably get some work in here at the bottom of the 8th inning. But now that it's become an interesting game, trying to save him, and Mendez, good arm, will pitch this bottom of the 8th inning. That means Houston Street now has to get ready. You've got a bullpen game going tomorrow. Corey Rasmus on the mound tomorrow. And Tepesh going for Texas. Brendan Bosch 1 for 3, a single and 2 strikeouts. All 3 of those plate appearances against Colby Lewis tonight. Lewis ended up going 5 innings, allowing 8 runs, 7 earned on 9 hits, including 3 home runs. Kirkman went 1 scoreless, Patton 1 scoreless, and now Mendez. First pitch swinging, lost one out to right. Smolinski comes in. 1 down. Hey folks, make your plans to be part of the postseason action here at the Big A. Angels Divisional Series tickets are on sale now. For more info to purchase those tickets, just log on at angels.com.
Should be a lot of fun. We're back in 2002 when the Angels had that home field advantage, go 8-1 at home. Win that World Championship.
Postseason begins for the Angels on October the 2nd. Game 1 of the division series here. Iannetta cuts through the fastball. Chris is 0 for 3 tonight. Fly ball to center, a strikeout, and a ground ball to short. One slider. 1-2.
Pretty sharp slider.
Yeah.
Especially when you get to deal with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Beckham on deck. Foul back. Back to the fastball. That breaking ball again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mendez just 24 years of age, native of the Dominican Republic, originally the Boston Red Sox system. Came over to Texas in a July 31st trade back in 2010. That was the Jared Saltalamacchia trade. Two now. Got him on the breaking ball. 2 down. That'll bring up Beckham for his first plate appearance. After the last out, stick around. Angels Live post game presented by your SoCal Mazda dealers. Patrick O'Neill and Jose Mota, along with Alex Curry, will break down what everyone hopes will be the Angels' 96th win of the season, but still work to be done in that ninth inning, especially with a hot team like the Texas Rangers. 7-game winning streak. And in the ninth, they'll have Taylor, Rua, and Chirinos due up 6, 7, and 8 to face Houston Street. First one to Beckham, in for a strike. Gordon took over with the 8th inning at third base for David Freese.
A nice play to be able to finish off that last inning. That was a tough in-between hop. Able to finish off 5-3 with that last out.
Pulls this one to left, a 2-out single. Got a high fastball. Turned it around. And he keeps the inning alive for Cole Calhoun, who strolls to the plate now. Cole tonight is 0 for 4. Does have a run. There's the asterisk there.
I like it.
Lays off, but it's a called strike.
Well, a lot of sliders for Mendez.
Pitched in 25 games at AAA Round Rock this year. 0-1 with a 4.02 ERA. And a 1.628 WHIP at AAA. One ball, one strike. He's thrown the ball well in 26 games at the major league level. Can at times get wild. 18 strikeouts, 16 walks.
It's more, it looks like overthrowing his slider more so than his fastball.
Broken bat roller, foul. New lumber for Calhoun. They'll come back with it with a 1-2 count. Trout on deck.
Threw that slider in on him.
Long hold, the 1-2. Cole fouls it off to left. This is the only game still being played in Major League Baseball.
Well, that Minnesota Cleveland game just ended recently. That must have been some type of delay. It was a long time.
Yeah. Cleveland ended up picking up the win. And with Oakland, Kansas City, and Seattle all losing, Cleveland now stands 3.5 back of the second wild card spot.
That last week's going to be fun.
1-2, sharply hit the second. Odor has it going to the backhand, and jump throw. Rosales gets back to the bag, and Calhoun retired with a third out. We head to the ninth here at the Big A with the Halos up 8-5. for the Angels. Last pitched on Wednesday through a total of 8 pitches in that outing. And I don't think anyone thought that he was going to get into this ball game, but because Texas dropped a 4 spot on the Halos in the 8th inning, he'll come in for the 25th time. Has a 1-1 record, a 1.57 ERA, 14 saves. As we mentioned in the bottom of the 8th inning, scheduled to face 6, 7, and 8 for Texas here. Taylese, Rua, and Chirinos.
Just like we suspected, Texas was not going to roll over. They're swinging the bats well. They're playing very good baseball. They've won 7 in a row, and they've made this an interesting game here in the 9th.
Fourth reliever used by Mike Scioscia. Jason Grilli, 2/3 of an inning, charged with a run. Joe Thatcher faced 1 batter. He was charged with a run, and then Joe Smith went 1/3 of an inning, giving up a hit. That was the Beltre double that brought in 2. Tomas Taylese, the DH, 1 for 3. He singled back in the 2nd. First one in there for a strike.
That's a pretty good spot.
Yeah. That one's on the corner, 1-2. Lifted in the end toward left center field. Long run for Mike Trout. Still racing over. Will make the catch for the first down. Boy, he had a long way to go.
Some great closing speed. And also dealing with somebody who hasn't been in the outfield with him all that often too. So that communication, a difficult task. Campana runs well himself. You see Trout at the last second. He sees him getting close to him. He's calling for the baseball. Campana's a center fielder by trade. He's trying to get to that baseball also, but Trout, an outstanding play.
So 1 out. Here's Ryan Rua. The left fielder's 1 for 3. He started off the rally for Texas in the 8th inning with a single. Eventually scored. Back caught the outside corner. One and 2. Angels looking for their 96th win. Maintained a 2.5 game lead over Baltimore. The best record in the American League. Orioles will wrap up their home schedule tomorrow against Boston. The Angels will wrap this one up at 12:35 against Texas. Just got a piece of it. Now foul back.
And a good change up from straight right off the mask. Chris Iannetta done a solid job behind the plate tonight.
Orioles with 8 games left to play. Halos with 7. 1-2 pitch. Ground ball to short. Ibar has it. 2 down.
Good slider by Street. Got Rua out in front. Rolled it over to Eric Ibar. Second out.
So Robinson Chirinos stands in the way. The Angels' 96th win, trying to finish this one up. Houston's looking for his 15th save. First one, swing and a miss. He had his mind made up. He was going to swing. First pitch.
And he was anticipating a first pitch fastball to try to get ahead, especially with 2 outs. You think, take first pitch. A lot of times a pitcher will throw a first pitch fastball, but not Houston Street.
Chirinos tonight a 1-for-3 game. Off the end of the bat, 0-2. Swing and a miss. Light that baby up as the Angels take game 2 against Texas. 8-5 the final.
Impressive victory for the Halos tonight, maintaining that 2.5-game lead over Baltimore for the best record in the American League. Mike Trout, 2-run home run, a triple. Albert Pujols, a 2-run home run, now 100 RBI on the season. David Freese, a 3-run home run, and Jared Weaver wins number 18. Houston Street picks up his 15th save.
Nice win overall for Jared Weaver. Dominant once again. That's back-to-back starts for him, in which he has looked very, very good. And we'll see if that carries over into one more regular season start for him. As the Angels pick up their 96th win of the season, stay 2.5 over Baltimore, as you mentioned. We'll wrap up this 3-game series against Texas tomorrow afternoon at 12:35. Corey Rasmus scoring for the Angels. And it's Nick Kempis up about Texas.
Another solid game by Howie Kendrick, too. A couple more hits. Just a solid effort once again by the Halos.
Well, you talk about some extra base hits. Mike Trout had plenty tonight. He's down on the field with our own Alex Curry.
Thank you, Victor. Mike, once this team gets going, you guys just pile on the runs. What is it about September baseball that's taken this team's game to the next level? And on top of it, you guys are having a blast winning, too.
No, we're just having fun coming out here and just winning ball games.
Now, earlier today, you were given the team MVP award. The crowd chants your MVP every single game. What's it mean to be recognized by your teammates like that?
Can't thank you guys enough. I love you guys. We're just trying to push into the playoffs and get some W's.
Now, another dominating performance by Jared Weaver. What kind of confidence does this team have in him heading into the postseason?
Yeah, you know, he's our ace, and he's seen it tonight. He's dominant, and getting that velo back, everything's looking good, and we're getting ready to go.
Congratulations on the great win and getting the MVP tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Another huge win for the Angels as the Bats put on a show for Weaver's 18th win of the season. But don't go anywhere, because Patrick O'Neill and Jose Mota will break it all down on Angels Live next, presented by our SoCal Mazda dealers.